Thank you very much. Of course, we will have Game 3 with Purge and Odoo Pixel to come, but let's dissect Game 2. It's now 1-1. Of course, in a best of 5, so we haven't just got one game to go. We've got potentially another 3. That's nice, isn't it? Let's get back up to date with our panel. We've managed to rescue Swindelzz away from the press room. He's back with us. Welcome back, sir. We've also got GoDz and Capitalist. Cap, what did you make of that?
I made of it that somehow Swindelzz is such an attention whore that he had to both be on the panel and in the press room at the same time and somehow couldn't make both.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You gave me permission. I'm ready for it, dude. Don't worry.
I am just blessed to be graced by Swindelz's presence. He fit me into his
Jesus.
schedule. Oh, thank you. Thank you so
You
much.
know,
Swindelzz.
I bet a lot of our viewers wonder why you never dressed up as Enchantress like you said you would.
I did.
They're also probably questioning a couple of those summit invites, but you know we'll
That's
hang on
just
to
you.
that.
Wow.
You guys should have
Wow.
seen. You guys should have seen Swindelz's grilly guts. So what are your invites for a summit?
North American. We finally
Why is it complexity invited?
well,
And he's like, well, there's qualifiers.
And he's like,
He's
hey, my favorite is like, how well do we have to do at the Manila Major to get invited? I'm like, dude, you can get last place. All you got to do is do well in the NA qualifiers, man.
the one
Get
slot.
last place in
And it-
Manila, it's fine. Just win summit qualifiers.
You're not going to win.
Awesome
Give this one up.
territory.
Trust me, give this one up.
Surrounded by Euros. I don't know what to do.
Well,
NA
Australia's
tournament,
in Europe now. Did you not watch Eurovision? We're part of we're part of Europe.
You're in China
All
too.
right, enough of this banter. We're going to get into the highlights of the game, and we'll recap exactly how Newbie have taken down Team Liquid in Game 2. This was, I don't want to put too much on it, but you sort of got the feeling at the start that it was trading well, but Newbie had the slight edge.
I think what Newbie I think drafted the better this time around than they did game number 1. Weaver was a very smart pickup. You look at Liquid, they had nothing to be able to deal with that as soon as it got out of control, right? And the same applied to Alchemist. Honestly, we should have called it on the panel. If only Swindelzz was here, we would have been able to call it last pick. But I mean, last pick Alchemist is like Newbie's thing. It's like one of their like go-to strategies. So it should have been pretty obvious for Liquid. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't ban that out because that will be a hero that does put you more on the timer. And while Liquid's lineup, I did like it, and I thought they could have actually been able to end this game fast enough. They weren't able to.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. They banned Beastmaster Lycan just right off the bat. It's just like, you know what? We might lose to you, but we're not going to lose the same thing twice. So it's really interesting. The Newbie still continues to do that. They've been doing it all event. Obviously, it works out this game. I think the really key thing is the IO. And it's one of those heroes where, like, we love IO and complexity, but we'll just go through phases where we don't pick it. Then we'll watch it win a few games and be like, wow, that's really good. And then we play it, and like, oh, wow, there are some really hard counters to this hero. This actually isn't that cool. And while they didn't really draft anything like that, the draft itself just kind of fought well. And Liquid's lineup needed a lot of time to come online. And, like, I just don't really like their cores that much. Like, Furion, Bristle, Lone Druid. They don't have any setup for their Earth Spirit. They don't really have any setup for relocates. They don't really have any magic damage or stuns. We talked about how this is kind of an in and out meta right now. Lots of, lockdown, quick casting abilities, low cooldowns, and Liquid just kind of made the same mistake they did. Someone else chime in. I'm trying to think of the game.
RG game?
There was a game they played, I think it might have been in Shanghai, I can't remember, where they drafted, I think, Beastmaster, Lone Druid. It might have been Lycan too. I'll have to look through. I'll find it. You guys.
But this is why
Beastmaster
Beastmaster is a very important pick, right?
Yes.
Because it still puts for Liquid, because it still puts the pressure of what they like to be able to have and be able to have the potential, like win one team fight, take towers, get information, right? But it's also able to get that serious lockdown that Swindelzz is looking for.
It was Wings Game 2, ESL Manila Finals. They ran Enigma, Lone Druid, Venge, Beastmaster, Furion. And it's the exact same issue with the draft. Like, you've got all these minions, you've got all this push, but like, you can't just say, oh, we'll just have lots of summons and just win. Like, it doesn't work like that. And I think their draft was just a little too one-dimensional in that game, and Newbie really exploited that. And, like, the Weaver Alchemist synergy is really cool, especially with that build on the Weaver with Lincoln's, like, so survivable. You can't really kill either core, and you don't want to fight them for a sustained period of time because you're under acid spray. The bugs are doing damage, tons of minus armor. They've got the Sunray hero is crazy good. It's mind-boggling.
I think Liquid were in a bad position for the drafts when they had to go 5th pick Furion to try and speed up their game, right? For me, that's how I kind of saw it. I was like, I was like, oh, they're in some kind of troubles, right? Because they know Weaver will eventually come online and be unstoppable because they don't have the disables against it. So they have to try and speed this up and get some extra pushing power. I thought Furion was going to be good enough for Liquid just because they like that kind of play style, but very clearly it wasn't. They had a very small window, smaller than most other windows that they usually give themselves, and that was also in part to the Alchemist last pick. That definitely sped it up.
GoDz, talk to me about the Weaver. It's been an inconsistent pick throughout the whole tournament. We've seen it sometimes work, sometimes not work so well. Why did it work so well in this game?
And the primary reason was there was nothing to lock it down in place. We saw towards the end there where there was one play where Liquid could try and gank him, and they send 4 heroes there, they buy back the Nature's Prophet, and they have no stuns. He gets the time lapse off after the Earth Spirit silence, then he just TPs away from 4 heroes all attacking him. So by that point, he's ridiculously tanky. He has a heart, Lincolns and all that, but even the lead up to that, it's a hero which can put a lot of pressure on. He can pressure towers and not worry too much about dying. Unless Earth Spirit hits a silence into stun, which is like the only way he's going to die, he can always split push, apply pressure. He's also can rotate. Something Hal really likes to do more than most carries nowadays is TP and counter gank. We saw that mid lane where he TPs in to get the return kill on the Bristleback as well as the IO to make that trade kind of neutralized. He got slightly out-farmed by Lone Druid, something that Purge kind of commented on, but it's because he's so active on the map.
And it's
really
also
interesting.
common weakness with newbies drafts is that they have a lack of ability to rotate. And we talked about how important that would be against Liquid. Once again, like IO Earth Spirit, very active supports. So having a Weaver is really nice. It's amazing turnaround potential, and you very rarely die as well, especially in a game like this where they just don't have enough disable to kill a Weaver.
I also want to talk about Fata. We've raved about him throughout the tournament. How do you measure him up in the first 2 games?
I think game 1 he did fine, but I don't know. He hasn't gotten his super game yet, and I'm sure that's coming in this best of 5. I'm sure Fata will win one game for Liquid.
Yeah, and the same with I guess the same for you GoDz is looking at Mu. We put so much expectation on him. He had a great game first game, but maybe got outshone a little bit by his teammates in places. But we're still looking for a spectacular game from him.
Yeah, I mean, game 2, you play Alchemist, you do Alchemist things. It's not a flashy hero.
It's just farming, right?
So you can't really fault him. Like, if anything, he played a 9 out of 10 Alchemist that game in my mind. Like, he did everything he needed to. Like, he wins his team the game just by doing a solid out.
Yeah, you last hit those creeps.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, how do I put this in a way that makes Moose sound like a good player?
He went and jungled at the right time. It's really not that impressive.
He's actually so good.
I mean, strategically it's impressive, right? But it doesn't sound good on a panel.
Yeah, it sounds a bit boring, a bit flat.
Yeah.
Swindelzz, talk to me. You've played in not necessarily so much in Dota so far, but in other games you've experienced best of 5s. They're very different from best of 3s. Explain why.
They go on forever, dude. Jeez, it's
well, we've got a bit of time. I mean, they haven't told me the draft's going to be ready anytime
It's all
soon.
those American qualifiers, right?
I mean, your BO5s and American qualifiers normally
All right,
straightforward, right?
Talk to us about the mentality of it. How do you approach it differently from a best
They
of 3?
turn into its own little mini game. That's what's so interesting. So it's like a BO3, you'd be like, okay, this is game 3. You might bring out a pocket strat. Who knows? Whereas now it's like, okay, well, you're just starting to do like all the calculations in your head. It's like the Hangover scene where he's counting cards. It's just like, okay, well, if I ban the IO and leave the Phoenix, maybe they'll take the Phoenix, maybe they'll leave the Phoenix. Will they ban it? That makes TK a lot. It's just like, and you just go in circles in your head. And at the end of the day, what I've learned from experience is that you always lose when you do that. You just need to come up. This is also why I don't really understand newbie style as much, where I just be like, okay, and now it's time for something completely different. And you know they won't ban it. Yeah, and just it works, because then they don't.
It's time for the Whisk Tiny.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity. You're just like, all right, complexity draft.
Yeah.
Didn't work out.
Hey, you learn.
But do you not like that? I mean, you mentioned
fire.
that you don't want to you're in your mind, you're saying if you start overthinking it, playing those mind games with yourself, you're going to lose. But newbie, they don't do that. They just stick to the same. You kind of criticize them for sticking to their picks over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's because they don't second guess it.
Well, that's Chinese Dota to a T. I think I've said it privately to you guys, but that's why I think that I always feel like the West has a higher ceiling because Chinese Dota is typically just always so solid, but they just don't innovate as much. They're not going to pick a Riki in game 1, ever, unless everyone in China is picking Riki. And it's just very much, this is how the hero's power level ranks. This is a great Weaver game. They'll take Weaver. You can almost see their picks coming, which isn't necessarily bad because obviously if you play very well, you're always in a good position. It's fine. It's just that you'll never see them just crush a draft in my opinion, unless, they're drafting against me because obviously it's an easy prey. But Liquid has the potential to just Zeus Riki. And You won't see Newbie do that. It's just two different styles. It's
We
really
spoke
will-
a little bit about this. Sorry, Kat. We spoke a little bit about this the other day, in the sense that sometimes actually a team can almost outdraft themselves because they've got so many options. So they've got to be careful of that too, haven't they?
Oh yeah, it's hard to explain, man. Drafting sucks.
I want to
Many-
point out for Swindelz's sake that when he had this conversation privately, he also said that's why China will always be like consistently good,
Yeah.
right? Which is
Yeah.
something he didn't say here, which
No.
I think people would be like,
Oh, wait,
"Are you saying China
does that-
sucks?"
Does that really come off like that? How's that even possible?
It's only in his head. No, I didn't think that.
What? No, I'm
know,
trying to
man.
help Swindelzz out here.
Dude,
That's why he's
I've
saying
given
that
up
like
on
China
it.
is
Okay, I'm
consistently
gonna,
great.
give it to. I'm gonna explain to you how I had it explained to me. Okay, during the week, I won't tell you who, but another pro player who said to me, basically, the way I look at Chinese players is they operate between 85 and 95% at all times. They
Yeah.
never get above 95. They never drop below 85.
actually- yeah.
Europeans play from 65% to 95%. So sometimes they're like, wow, that's amazing, that's incredible, but sometimes they really suck. Is that fair?
I don't think it's at all fair because I think we are.
when it's
I think we're
American,
This
grouping.
is why I
like-
didn't tell you who it
This is-
was.
Yeah.
No, I think everyone makes the mistake of grouping, and including you. I think make a huge mistake grouping all the Chinese teams together. I think you look at different teams and different
point.
players. Everyone is completely different. You have
Yeah, that's
you
a
have
good point.
7-1, the eHome coach, and just teams he's led who draft off the wall, like the old Team DK, which he also coached. Then you have the new eHome, which did struggle, but they were willing to go for some funky picks. So I think people mistakenly group together the Chinese scene when
Well,
every team has a very
see,
unique, different play
I
style.
agree with you on that, but what I disagree with is that like if you look at eHome, what I see as their big unique picks, they always used to go like Trient and Abaddon, the Lan M,
Yeah.
and that was sort of their special flavor. I agree, but it wasn't like surprise. Do you know what I mean? I just don't I rarely see Chinese teams introduce new heroes to the competitive scene. Now, they will set the meta and say this is what is good, this is how you must play to win games right now.
The Chinese scene introduced the Phoenix, the Doom.
But
The
okay,
two of the
but
biggest
that's
meta
what I'm
picks right now
saying.
were introduced
That's
by
what,
the
that's
Chinese
what I'm
scene.
saying.
Doom was
That's
always
exactly
a
what I'm
Chinese
saying.
pick. I'll just say that.
Like,
I don't want to get into
What do
this
you mean? Well,
argument.
you're
though.
saying they don't
This-
innovate and
Okay.
introduce new picks.
No.
Two of the biggest meta heroes were introduced by the
You're going,
Chinese
you're
scene.
going full Reddit right now, man. You got to like listen,
Enjoying this?
No,
listen
no,
to
no,
the
no.
context,
Fun, right?
and then make a
Quite like
This-
this.
a good.
This is an
I'm
act-
just
This is an act that God.
What is going on?
Kinda like
Are you
a
just
spectator.
messing with me? I can't
They're
swear. I
messing
really
with
wish
you.
I
What
could.
about like?
So,
No,
you
what's
guys
going
can't know
on?
that the
That's fine.
Phoenix pick came out of the Chinese pub scene and was used by
Oh.
like 4-position Phoenix.
I mean,
came
but
out of
that's
the
what I'm
Chinese
saying,
scene.
and now everyone's first picking Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's what my point. They will
Doom.
set the meta with.
4-position Doom. It was called like talk to the players. It's called China Doom because it's this 4-position Doom that runs at you
Are
and
you-
right clicks you.
But that's the point.
No,
China
carry on, carry
always
on.
drafted.
No, we're
Doom,
just we're
right?
spectators now.
Oh, right.
Spectators now.
Sorry.
Okay, this is all right. All right, I'm gonna speak slowly. You're Australian. I know English is different
Yeah,
in your
it's
neck
like
of the
our third
woods.
language
Yeah,
or
you're
something.
where you're always busy fighting off spiders and snakes. You can't go to school very often. They don't pick surprises in situations like this. Their new picks are heroes that are so good they become heroes that like set the meta. So Phoenix and Doom, yes, they were new, and now look at them. They're like picked in all of these games.
I think you're.
Are you gonna see
generalizing.
Zeus
I think
Riki?
you're definitely generalizing.
Jesus
Look
Christ,
at,
I'm gonna stab you with this pen.
Look at like
God.
Ti, like how suddenly like busts out a Luna. Everyone's like, wow, how suddenly picking Luna at Ti in an elimination match, and oh, Vici Gaming are winning with Luna. Like,
I'll give you
where
that.
the hell
I'll
did
give you
come
that.
from?
That's a good point. That's a good
I
point.
think you could find countless other examples where
Sorry,
China
hold on.
Can
I'm
we-
getting a message. I'm being told I have to referee this. I have to step in and stop this fight now. I love this. You guys could just carry on. It'd be really entertaining for us. We were enjoying that.
Just wait till you guys see who they invited.
This is where it all comes down
Not
to.
this guy.
This is where it comes back to. He's just bitter about the invoice. He's still giving you
I'll
crap
pick a
about
fight
that.
like regardless. If I was arguing the other side, who'd play devil's advocate?
Yeah. You know, I was considering emailing Valve about the whole, not telling casters whether they're going to Manila or not, and it's like
Whoa.
2 weeks away. But you guys fight that battle on your own. All right. Who's gonna take the bullet? Where's James? When you need
Swindelzz, I
him?
just had to say,
What?
I think you made some really good points in that argument.
Thanks,
well done.
Cap. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no
You're a really great analyst and caster.
Thank you.
I'd
Thank you. If
love
you want
to
to tweet
see you.
about that and get a
Oh.
little Reddit thread for me,
Yeah,
I
true.
would super appreciate it.
Like I said,
GoDz
as
is
you know,
definitely, he's
I-
all wrong
sorry,
in this
I-
argument.
I
I don't
am.
need Manila.
I am very
I've got
famous.
Epicenter.
I've got dozens of fans. There are dozens of them out there.
And they're very rapidly reproducing.
You know who else
Yeah.
is fans?
What?
Yeah.
Navi.
What?
It's just-
Where is
Can we
this
move
going
on?
Where's the
right now?
whole-
Draft.
Where
Is that
is
the
this
Monty
going?
Python part?
I have no idea.
There's a Van Gogh painting. That's pretty cool. But where's the draft?
Yeah,
Why do
where
I
is
have to
the
listen to
draft,
this
actually?
guy?
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything about the
It's,
draft.
you know what it is? You know what it is? Oh, come on. You know what it is by now.
What?
It's Liquid. It's Kuro.
Like, did
he's
something
having his smoke.
Did
and
something
he's like, no,
happen
no, no.
while I was
you wait
gone?
For me.
What changed? That we went from like professional grand finals, and now you guys are like over here. It's like RedEye.
You came back.
Yeah.
Apparently.
RedEye's just like going full.
I've
I
just
don't
lost
know, man.
complete
He
control
forgot
of
where
the
he
panel
was.
now.
He
I
thought,
don't know what to
he
do
thought he was
anymore.
at the pub rooting
This
for
is all new
Leicester.
to
In
me.
reality, you're hosting RedEye.
This is all new to me. It's like, you know, when you're in the booth and you're picking the heroes and you're like, guys, I've got this great idea, right? Hero right at the right time, and you're telling them all why, and they've all gone to sleep. You know that moment when
I've
you
been
turn
there
around and
before.
like, guys, is everyone okay? That's how I feel right now.
So this is your Phantom
Completely
Assassin.
out of
This is-
control.
That was a great pick. Okay, we just
It
didn't.
was.
That was a great pick. That was awesome.
He's still
okay?
trying to justify it 3 days later.
It was good.
You know, I tried to back you guys for that draft too. I was like, I don't see where this Phantom Assassin is going. I don't think it's a hero, but you know, every single time complexity surprised me. So I tried to back you guys with that.
Oh, sorry. I actually installed a filter. No one below 6K MMR actually gets through. But glad you still have that as your pinned tweet. He's like 5,300 now.
No, it's not my pin tweet.
You should pick more Doom, man.
I mean,
It's
I had
funny
to
how
practice
things
it.
can change so quickly because, like, it seemed like only 2 hours ago you were basically being co-opted as new offlaner for complexity. What happened in that couple of hours?
I mean,
You guys
Swindelzz goes
fall
through
out, or-
players pretty quickly here at TI5 free area.
Ooh, good one.
the best part was Swindelzz was just like, you guys are massively underestimated. It was just like, what do you mean you don't have a solid, you haven't had a solid lineup for so long?
Yeah.
Like, how can I back you for
That
the
was even worse.
qualifiers?
Then I had to actually get we were fighting for invites to the qualifiers. God, like not tournament. That's a big step. We were just like, please, we don't want to go through like opens or just not play.
Uh-huh.
Dark days.
All right, let's get back it because draft will be ready fairly shortly.
goodness.
Fairly shortly.
Get me
So let's
out of
start
here.
talking and
I
theorising
hope
about
this-
where we're going to go in Game 3.
Jeez.
Is this now a best of 3, or is it still the best of 5? I know
Oh,
it's
no,
1-1.
it's a best of 5. You don't forget the
because
lessons.
of the changes?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, as an example, Lycan, newbies never letting that go through the first.
Okay.
They might let it go through first phase, but never second. It might just never enter the game again. I think Beastmaster will receive the same treatment. And this is why, like, this is a moment where Liquid kind of has to consider what they want to do. And this is where, again, I like when you pull out something new that's
Yeah.
still very strong. Like, they could have easily gotten away with the Drow strat that game. The very same OG, like, IO Drow strat, they could have picked if they wanted it. There's a lot of really strong combinations that will be available when the other team is afraid. Literally, they're banning 2 out of your 5 from one draft. You've got a ton of others. Like, I
Okay.
know he doesn't have a
Draft is,
notebook, but, you know,
Draft
Kuro's
is
been
ready,
playing
so
all
let's
the
take a
time.
look at it
Thank God.
at the very beginning of it, I hope. We can see that now.
Doesn't
There we
have
go.
a notebook.
Lovely.
So you're talking a lot.
Bad's in.
Yeah, talking a lot about like what newbies not going to let Liquid get their hands on. Is there anything from Game 2 that Liquid will learn and be like, oh, we don't want to give newbie that again?
Well, they're definitely not going to give him a Spectre because that's the 3rd ban out of 3.
Yeah. So to analyze like this open real quick, you see that Liquid is first pick. They ban the Spectre, followed by the Lycan, so those are just comfort bans. Ooh, really quick, so I'll get to that in a second. But then when Liquid bans IO, Newbie bans the Earth Spirit, which I think is one of the heroes that's like really countered by IO because he wants to be really aggressive in the early game. IO TPs in, boom, turns it around, Earth Spirit might die. They go with the Doom first pick, Lion Beastmaster taken, and now a Lone Druid, so very interesting. Lone Druid typically matches up pretty damn well against Lion. You cancel the blink, you can't really deal with the Radiance at all, and you're going to just be so tanky, you don't really care about his burst. Plus, if you're killing the hero, that means the bear isn't CC'd. So, solid opener for both teams. We did discuss how Newbie was, what, like 20-something and 0 with Doom quite some time. Cap, what are you guys doing? You're like writing notes down and just like whispering and stuff with covering your microphones? What's going on?
What? No.
What?
I feel like I entered the
was pulling up
Twilight
previous
Zone or
drafts.
something.
They're listening to your.
I mean, I didn't
we're
want to get in
listening to
that
you.
argument
This
earlier.
is
You know,
why I
because I
talk
knew.
so much, guys. They're not even paying attention. I don't get paid. Like I
You're
really,
saving the
I
show.
need to get paid for this,
Yeah, sure.
and not in MMR. Okay,
Okay.
real
Not in
We've
Gaben
got quite a
bucks.
lot of
American
that MMR.
dollars.
Not
We've
in
got
Gaben
quite a lot
bucks.
of those MMR dollars, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so bans. We got the Phoenix ban. That's solid. Pairs really well with Liquid's draft. GoDz, what do you think, man? How do you feel about Sunray?
It's freaking good.
I'm fairly surprised that.
Wow,
It's
And
pretty
That's
Inter-
deep
good.
analysis
a
going
really
there.
solid opinion from you, GoDz. That
Oh,
is
well, see,
really
it
quality.
also works well for newbies draft though. That's the thing where newbie are the ones banning it. Is that like why did newbie not want to go into Phoenix with their draft?
I don't know. That's a great question, GoDz. What do you think?
I am fairly surprised.
I don't have a
I
good
hate you
answer.
guys right now. I'm fairly surprised that they actually didn't go for the Phoenix as that second pick for Team Liquid, because I think that's a good combination for Liquid, where they run the frontliner, like 4-position Kuro Doom into the enemy team. They've got the Phoenix in the background. It works for their push lineups really well, just being able to have 2 frontliners most of the time. Instead, they get the Lone Druid, who is going to be another frontliner, of course, and there is some versatility where they're able to run it both mid and safe lane, but I would have put more value in the Phoenix, but they may be looking for potential on some sort of one-on-one matchup with the Lone Druid. We'll have to see as the 3-4 pick.
I always hate that idea. I used to like it a lot, but Lone Druid just beats everything. It's really annoying as an offlaner.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like you're playing 1 versus 2, and then you get rooted when he's level 5 immediately and die. That's what always happens to me. That's why I don't know if you know, there's this like new strategy where you actually, as the offlaner, don't even go to the offlane. You just jungle.
Oh,
and then if you die, it's on purpose. It's great. Yeah. And then
you're
you
like, I need a quick trip back to base. All right.
Yeah, that's great.
Suicide.
Oh, hey, they're pushing bottom. I'll just TP you down there. 50 gold, no problem. It's great.
You're already at level 3. You'll get a 2 lanes from the push.
And Beastmaster, one of the best offlanes to do that with. So hey.
There you go. I think that Tusk sneaking through is something that might bite Newbie here. I think this is a easy 3rd pick Tusk for Liquid, and just as you say, the 4 Doom leaves the draft really open. They have the 2 and the 3 open, or sorry, the 2 and the 3.
So you would like to see the Tusk picked up and then rotate the Doom into an
well,
off-lane
that's the
position,
beauty of it. It can be either, and then you just choose your mid hero and potentially, and then because what's interesting about 1st pick, right, is that 4th and 5th pick are essentially the same, because you see 4 of your enemy heroes, but you only have 3, then you choose 2. It's another really cool thing with the drafting change that just makes things very different. I like that ban a lot. Invoker is a solid ban. It's weird because you would think Doom sort of counters it, but I don't know. I feel like Invoker is so strong right now, like just so good. You saw. I feel like with it. I think Newbie plays way better with it. Every team loves Invoker nowadays, and I think that's a very solid ban. Wouldn't be surprised to see Newbie potentially take the Tusk to block it from Liquid. I think that's like a key hero right now.
Well, and the fact they ban out the Phoenix makes me think they have something else in mind for Kaka. In that
really solid.
Yeah, I love this pickup because Liquid could very easily have gone for a Death Prophet themselves. Death Prophet matches well against Lone Druid with the Spirit Siphon.
Yep.
And I don't know, I'm with you on the Quaswex Invoker especially, because Doom's so, like, he's focused on initiation. Even if there's an Invoker on the enemy team, you go Quaswex, you get Tornado EMP out, you're burning both the Baron mana, which you were, as well as stopping Doom. Like, you can actually burn through his mana so he doesn't even cast Doom in a fight.
Yep. And it's really effective.
No, he's, like, not impactful at all at that point.
The DP is actually a solid pick here. That's EG's, like, go-to counter to Lone Druid. It's also very solid against Doom. Obviously, you don't really care about getting Doom as long as you get your ult off. And it makes a lot of sense with their draft, applies a lot of pressure naturally, and just, if you look, I don't know how to explain it, but you just look at DP line Beastmaster, you're just like, I like this. You know, you get a lot of map control, you get a mix of physical, you got through BKB disable, you got a lot of disable, you have a silence, you have damage that can be dealt without doing anything. Like, it just, I don't know how to explain, it's just got a lot in those 3 heroes. And then they will probably save their last pick for House Hero. And I'm thinking Gyrocopter if I'm Liquid. That's what I would be considering banning because they've actually run Gyro DP, dual core quite a bunch. And again, really good synergy. Gyro doesn't really care if he gets doomed. He's just going to auto attack with flag up anyway. So
are there not maybe other better heroes though to pair with, let's say, Beastmaster, because you've got the Inner Beast and just the raw lockdown for some extra burst damage? Like he's done like the Lifesteal a lot as well. Like Lifesteal pretty good against the Lone Druid
that's a good
as
point,
well.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a really solid pick. We've also seen DP Lifestealer, I think, from Liquid at this event already. I'm not certain, though. Could be wrong. Probably wrong. Wrong quite often.
I can't remember Matumba Man playing Lifesteal this tournament.
Puck.
There weren't too many heroes that, especially with the Invoker banned away, there wasn't going to be too many heroes that would really threaten Death Prophet in the mid lane. So Liquid have to focus more on being able to establish dominance at that 15-minute period of time.
I like the Puck. I think it fits with exactly what you're saying. I think the Veil build on the hero is so strong. Just because, like, as a pro player, it's so annoying to play heroes that don't clear creep waves. Yep. And when you have Veil, you just Veil, double nuke instead. It's so clean. It feels like you just, I don't know how to explain. It's just like, yeah, that was easy. Otherwise, you got to
down next to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And we know Liquid. I thought that was part of the problem with a little bit of the problem with the last push. Or last lineup for newbies, that they didn't have any D-push, right? That Liquid can constantly keep, like, waves pushed in, and they had, like, not really the best heroes until the and Octarine started coming in for the Alchemist.
I love drafts right now. They all, you can see they're both open, and they also have a very solid just skills and roles in the fight. With Liquid, you've again got through BKB disable, you've got tower pressure, you have AoE lockdown, silence, etc., etc. You're just eating whatever creep you feel like you might need. Low on time. Is that 13?
30 seconds of reserve time left and 16 for Liquid.
Yeah, so both teams thinking very hard about these picks.
Oh, they get KPs here for tide. This puts Beastmaster in the 4 position role most likely.
Well, I believe you mean the Iron Talon
Yeah, the Iron
jungle.
Talon role. So you're
Also,
you're not really getting the 4th amount of farm in that role.
When you don't have a Sunray, just buy an Iron Talon and go into the woods, man. It works for me.
Is this something Liquid can try and punish? With the 4 position Doom, they go into a Jarek's Rubik.
Well.
I'm not a fan of the Rubik. It's really just not a Tusk game anymore, to be fair. Like, the attack speed slow doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You can get silenced immediately after
you don't
snowball.
Want to snowball into Tide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just grim days if that goes down. So
his hero pool was limited as a result, unless he played the 4 position Doom, which is something Jarek's maybe could have done.
And not to take anything away from Jarek's, but I think he is I don't want to say he's like a worse player on other heroes. It's more that he's just like so good on Tusk, Earth Spirit, and Phoenix specifically that I think if he's not playing them, then you're pretty happy with how the draft has gone. I like Liquid's lineup still, but it's pretty much Rubik needs to get steals off to be an effective hero in this game. They also don't really have anything that combos off the lift. You can throw people out of coil, but it's kind of rarely able to be utilized. And it does help set up a lot of early aggression. Rubik Doom can get a lot done around the map. And, again, 2 really aggressive supports, so nothing wrong with that. It's Liquid style. They banned the Darkseer.
I really like the Darkseer because they've done Kuro and Doom a few times, and Darkseer Doom would just wreck the lanes. You look at Jungle Beastmaster, what's your weakness? Like, getting crushed in the lane. So you put a Darkseer, Iron Shoulder Doom, run at people in the off lane, suddenly your lanes don't go so well.
In which case, I think your still best opening as Team Liquid is to try and get aggressive as the offlane. You have like Void left in the pool, but I think you're more likely to grab something like almost like Night Stalker-ish, right? Where you're definitely banking on putting pressure in the dual lane and setting up the
It's an off
lane Lone Druid, or
might be, or it could be an off lane Doom.
Aggro, like you could do like a Rubik Lifesteal, or do you even aggro lane? Like
Hey, they might even keep it open. You can actually just off lane Iron Talon jungle the Lifestealer if you want. I've tested that in practice mode. It's pretty fast.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get the Lone Druid that one-on-one matchup that we brought up.
Also a bit of a block pick,
on.
as we kind of mentioned how may want to play this hero.
Yeah, it's much better now against DP that his E isn't super broken, where it would not only do damage, pure damage through rage, but also slow. And that was really broken, and DP just kind of crushed him. They also changed Boars to no longer go through spell immunity, just these like little tweaks that make, so even though it's not like directly affecting the hero, it makes him better. And that right there is probably one of your best counters to Lifestealer. You don't care about open wounds, you can ulti him through the rage, and it's physical damage, which is really Lifestealer's weakness. I think both drafts, once again, are very solid. No like clear edge, honestly, for like one of the first times. It's really going to come down to play, rotations, and just everything that makes Dota so damn complicated. Whoever does that stuff the best will probably win.
Okay, GoDz.
It's Swindle who's on the fence for once. Jeez.
All right, there's no time for argument. Just very quickly, which way is the
Hop
draft going?
on, there's plenty of room.
I'm going the opposite way he says. I'll go newbie. So, do you want Liquid?
What'd you do? Flip a coin?
Newbie. Nah, I reckon newbie's draft has it.
All right, okay. Cap?
I think I like Newbie's draft a little bit more.
Okay, all right. We'll get more thoughts of our panel, of course, after the game, but now we'll head down to the commentary team who are ready to bring you game number 3 of the grand final.